Hello and welcome back to Nomifactory. Today I have kept the same format as last time. I have played quite a bit and I will show you how I have progressed. I have a list here of things that I did and I'll take you through how I did it. The first thing here is the styrene butadiene rubber I made over here. It's just some ethylene, benzene, in the first chemical reactor that makes styrene, and it also makes some acid here. I think it's hydrochloric acid or something. It makes. We can take a look here. Nah, it makes hydrogen, but we use this hydrogen all over the base. We're actually in a deficit, so that's good to get a little bit extra here. Then we make it into raw styrene butadiene rubber by mixing it with butadiene and oxygen. That's how we get that. And then we mix it again with sulfur dust to get the liquid rubber. I'm not using it yet, but we will use it when we get to the IV machines, because the IV cables can only be coated in silicon rubber or styrene butadiene, but silicon rubber is way more difficult to make, so I went with styrene butadiene. We import the sulfur dust here in an interface, and I don't have a screwdriver on me at the moment, but we use a robot arm here. I'll show you, it's easier to show you. Let's see here. A robot arm set to keep exact with the item filter of 64 raw styrene butadiene rubber, and that makes sure that we don't overfill on styrene butadiene. And here I have a limited item filter to make sure we don't overfill on rubber dust, and that gives us all the styrene butadiene we need. I made a little ore processing plant here, but we only have used it for ilmenite at the moment. At the moment we have 7,000 ilmenite dust. As you can see, I've run quite a bit more tier 1 microminers, so we have a lot of everything. I think I've run like 25, and I also run like 10 of these tier 2s. So we have quite a bit of resources here. This I'll take you through. I'm not sure I have any ilmenite left. It's processed everything. But let's see here. We have an interface which imports the ilmenite ore into a steel crate here. Then we have a robot arm that imports it and into the pulverizer here, which pulverizes it. Then we take, we have a ore dictionary filter here, which blacklists crushed ores, so that crushed ores can't go in here, and it exports crushed ores on a whitelist into this crate here, so that we get the crushed ore, they continue in the system, and the byproducts gets exported to the steel crate here. I'll explain this line later. Then the crushed ore gets washed so that it is purified crushed. That we import into the thermal centrifuge, and we use a robot arm to whitelist cross-centrifuged ore so that it continues in this system here, and the byproducts we get up into this chest here by blacklisting the cross-centrifuged ore. So everything that isn't cross-centrifuged gets put into this steel crate here. Then finally we crush it again in a pulverizer so that we will get the dust and some byproducts again. I think the byproducts are rutile or tiny rutile pieces. No, tiny rutile we get from the thermal centrifuges, and we have a chance of more rutile in the macerator. But this macerates it again into this dust here, and then it gets exported into this controller slave, which is connected to this drawer system. The byproducts here gets extracted with pipes because that's faster and less laggy. That's stone dust, this iron dust, and the rutile itself. It gets extracted through these crates here. Every process has a chance of byproducts, and those byproducts just get extracted into this packager, or they get extracted into the controller here. So this blacklist dust tiny, so every tiny dust here can only go into the packager, and every other dust we get as byproducts just gets inserted into the drawer controller here. This is very important. I put a robot arm on one of these. Let's see, I think it's here. Its supply exacts 9 items. So it will only put items into this packager here if we have 9 of them. And that's very important, otherwise this will fill with uneven numbers. And 9 tiny piles is the equivalent of 1 whole pile here. And that's very important that you set this before the packager to supply exact 9. And then this extracts into this steel crate here and gets put into the drawer system like everything else. And that's how we get a lot of rutile here. We have almost 7,000, and each one of these gets made into titanium. And we can also take this ilmenite dust. Let's see here, ilmenite. This we can put into a blast furnace, like so. 10 gets turned into even more rutile dust with just some carbon. And so we will have a lot of titanium. I think that if we have enough power, we will only make EV and above from now on. EV machine status. Next, we made some radon, just a little bit manually. And we did this by electrolyzing radium salt, which we get from the tier 2 miner. Like so. A radium salt in an EV electrolyzer makes radon and rock salt. The rock salt we can electrolyze again if we want to into more chlorine, which we probably should do because we have 4,000 buckets, but we are losing chlorine, we are not gaining it, and I want it to sustain itself. The same with hydrogen. I'm not sure if I have a super tank in here. No, we are also losing hydrogen. So we will need to do something about that. Yeah, and with the radon, we can make quantum ice. Let's see, a chemical reactor. Now, chemical bath. With a chemical bath here, I think I have one here. This chemical bath, I put radon in and a ender eye. This recipe here, it can be done at HV. The radium salt is EV, so you have to look at the recipes down here which tier of machine you need, because the electrolyzer is EV and the chemical bath can be done at HV. So the quantum eye here is the component in EV sensors and EV emitters. It's pretty easy to craft those up. It's just some titanium, some EV circuits, and platinum, which we have a lot of from the electrolyzing of endstone dust, or centrifuging rather. This EV sensor and EV emitter we needed for the EV circuit assembler and later for wireless crafting terminals. I haven't made that yet, spoiler alert. So the radon here we use to make a EV circuit assembler. I can show you the recipe here. It's pretty standard for circuit assemblers. It needs 2 of the higher tier circuits and then some a robot arm, some conveyors, and the EV emitter here, which required the quantum eye. And we use the mainframes here. That's the only recipe we have access to. It's a bit expensive, but not something we don't have a lot of. This EV assembler we have here, and next to it we have quite a messy setup, but it works. This here, precision laser engraver at high voltage, HV, makes us CPU wafers, which we store in this setup here. We will cut these down to normal CPUs at one point, but I haven't gotten to that yet. There, we extracted from the system here and put it into an EV chemical reactor together with tin, apparently. Oh, this needs a filter, but it works at the moment. We're not supposed to have tin in here. But this makes us nano CPU wafers. It's some energized glowstone and some raw carbon fibers, which we made with the epoxy that we made in the last episode. Some epoxy and, let's see here, epoxy and carbon dust makes 4 raw carbon fibers, and it's not very much epoxy. These nano CPU wafers we cut. We don't saw these, we just cut them because we only need the cut version, and we put it into the drawer. These nano CPU wafers, let's take one. Those can be used to make the next tier of circuits, nano circuits, and this makes 2 high voltage circuits per 1 circuit board and recipe here. Those are much cheaper, and the same goes with the EV circuits. You can make 2 high voltage circuits into 2 EV tier circuits. Before it was 2 to 1. So it's a much better recipe for EV, and later on IV as well, but we need some more items for IV. This is a nano wave CPU setup, and we also have the advanced circuit assembler to make the recipes. Every machine we were able to autocraft, I've switched out with these nano circuits. They were the other circuits before. That took some time, but it's not that bad. We can just search in the interface terminal for the input names up here, the first one here, and then we can take out all the recipes that had the old circuits. To make these circuits here, see, we need these advanced circuit boards. Those we made, let's see, right here. This extracts epoxy, the iron 3 chloride that we made a long time ago. We made that over here at the plastic circuit board setup. That we made iron 3 chloride here. We are just using that. So we extract iron 3 chloride, sulfuric acid, and epoxy. The epoxy we made into resin sheets in a fluid solidifier with a mold plate. We use a limited item filter for gold foil and a robot arm to keep exact 8 epoxy resin sheets so that we don't buffer too many in here. So epoxy resin, gold foil, the trick here to not make it overflow, and sulfuric acid makes us these epoxy circuit boards. These are only used for these circuit plates, which I'm not sure we'll use ever actually. Maybe we might do, but we just extract those directly into the next chemical reactor, which keeps exact 8 of them, and a limited item filter for electrum foil, so that this also does not overflow, and the iron 3 chloride. This makes us the advanced circuit boards, which we buffer. I buffered like 2,000 of them, but that's probably a overkill. But I like having a lot of these circuit boards so we can just craft up circuits whenever we want. And the passive processes are very overpowered when you run it on a server, and they run all the time. Here we make the foils that we use for the advanced circuit boards. We make electrum plates, make them into foil, buffer them, buffer 500 of them, same with gold. This is pretty basic, just import in a interface here and storage buses on the drawers. Very basic. And that's how we get these foils. We also crafted some SOCs here, SOC wafers with a yellow lens. And these we make into system on chips. And those just give us a way cheaper way of making the LV tier circuits. And when we get an IV assembler, circuit assembler, we can make way cheaper medium voltage tier circuits as well. The yellow lens here, let's see, yellow lens. We made in a chemical bath. We need high voltage for that. We just made a glass lens, which is a, let's see if we can find it. It's just a glass pane in a lathe. This recipe here. Glass pane in a lathe. And then we use the chemical bath to make the yellow lens here. We need this chemical yellow dye, which is dandelion yellow. This dandelion yellow, I just went back to the overworld and found some flowers. This together with some salt and some sulfuric acid makes the dye, which we obviously use to make the lens. These system on chips are good, but they're only good for the smaller tier circuits. Then lastly, I made a lot of tungsten steel dust and smelted up quite a bit of it. Let's see here, tungsten steel. We have almost 500 tungsten steel ingots and almost 4,000 tungsten dust just from electrolyzing, centrifuging in stone. We also have a lot of platinum here, which I should probably put in the packager first. We can always do that though. We have a lot of helium, which is good in the blast furnace. It crafts up higher tier ingots faster if you use helium. So we use it for that. Yeah, but with the tungsten steel, let's see here. Tungsten steel. We can make up the higher tier coil blocks. We needed an EV assembling machine, which I have over there on my EV line. So 128 2 times tungsten steel wires and some vanadium steel foil together with some molten nichrome, makes the tungsten steel coil blocks. This molten nichrome cannot be picked up by normal drums. You need a super tank because it's hotter than other liquids. This made us tungsten steel coil blocks, which we use in this blast furnace now. I think we crafted up some lumium with it. Yeah, we did. And this lumium we need to make higher tier circuits and higher tier energy cables. But I'll set up a automation for that soon, so that we don't have to manually craft all aluminum. I think we have like 4 ingots here, which I just crafted up for fun manually. I think we can... Oh, we need Enderium for that. Yeah, we can't upgrade anything yet, but we have crafted up a little bit of lumium here, which is needed for the cheaper IV circuits. We need lumium wire for that. Let's see, I'm on kind of detour here. I just follow the quest line at the moment. We don't need to do this, but I want to craft up this IV machine hulls to get the quest. We can probably use it for something, but it's not needed right now. Let's see here. Do we have a free assembler? We have this one. This we will make our styrene butadiene assembler. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We don't have a fluid filter. Let's see here. We fluid filter styrene butadiene rubber. Let's just make sure that it can be made a high voltage. It can. So we fill this with styrene butadiene rubber, which we get from this interface here. This is now filling up. Let's see if we can make some platinum cables. Platinum. Oh, we need to place this here. Let's just make 2. We probably need to set this up. So we need to extract into the interface and allow input from output side. Need to do that every time, otherwise it won't work. Yeah, we coded the platinum cable here, which can only be done with silicon rubber or styrene butadiene. If we see here, silicon rubber, styrene butadiene, and we need these 10 thin polyvinyl chloride sheets, but these we are already crafting, at least the sheets, and then we craft these on demand. Let's see if we can craft up the IV machine hull here. We obviously need to make more patents. Let's try again. This, I messed up a little. The IV machine hulls needs polytetrafluoroethylene. So we need to put this in the, let's see, the PTFE here. Let's try that. Yeah, it crafted up. So just be careful with that. It doesn't need polyethylene, it needs PTFE to craft it up. So yeah, we have our IV machine hull here. And that should be a quest. Yeah, it is. At the moment, I need some more luminescence to make the elite crafting table. Let's see here. I need some phosphoric acid in this mixer. So we say phosphoric acid, which I have like a lot of because we crafted it last episode. Let's see, a filter here. Phosphoric acid. And insert on blue. This should be getting phosphoric acid. It is. Then we just need to make a recipe for luminescence. And put it in the mixer here. Let's see. We'll craft up 32. And this also needs to be configured. And yeah, we get luminescence very fast. So that's nice. We also need to automate these interval plates. Let's see. Cutting saw. We have that in the clean room. That makes us all the plates we need. From all the plates that can't be made in the bending machine, that is. Let's see. Elite. What else do we need? I think that's it. We need 4 of these elite catalysts. In the elite crafting table here, which are needed for the higher tier microminers. Let's place those in here. Think like so. Yep. So we need some black steel plates. Black steel plates, I think 8. We also need some aluminum blocks. 4 of those. The black steel plates we can place. Same with the aluminum blocks. We have a lot of aluminum because we passived it a while ago. We have like 83,000. And a lot more dust. Then we need more of these elite components. We need 8. And the crafting table we have. Those you can just dupe by placing them in here. Which is very nice so that we don't have to craft up another one. Should be able to craft the elite table here. Let's see if we get the quests. Yeah, we do. And we can dupe this as well. Let's just dupe it a couple of times. So that we have them. And this is used for, yeah, microminers. These we can automate at one point. Let's see. That's just a lot more black steel and crystalline components. Yeah, we need nether stars for that. We are not there quite yet, but we will be able to automate every extended crafting recipe at one point. I just need to figure out how you do it. I kind of want the goal for this recipe to be this tier 3 microminer. Let's see. We have all the items we need to send it. We just need to make these MV field generators, which are a bit expensive. Because these wires are not easy to make. We need to mix boron with magnesium. Magnesium we have a lot of. Boron we don't have very much of. It's not that easy to get. We need to ore process salt. not saltpeter. Let's see if we can find salt here. We get this from the tier 1, so we have quite a bit of salt. If you pulverize it, you get crushed salt ore. If you then ore wash it and thermal centrifuge it, you get tiny piles of borax. And when you pulverize this centrifuge salt ore, you get borax, a chance of borax as well. So I think we just need to shove some salt ore into this. And it should give us borax, which we can electrolyze. I didn't say this. Borax we can electrolyze for some water, oxygen, and boron and sodium. We can see this work now. This makes us crushed salt ore, which goes into here and gets washed, purified. This should give us some tiny piles as well, it does. The tiny piles should go into the packager and get extracted down here. And the salt also get extracted down here. We obviously need to give them drawers. Borax, salt, rock salt. These two salts here we will probably electrolyze because we are low on chlorine. Or we will get low on chlorine soon because we are using it. And hydrogen we really need to do something about. We should probably make a tower for refinery gas. The refinery gas we are just voiding off right now. We could make a tower for that. We need solidified argon for the tier 3 microminer. And for that we need to distill liquid air, and we don't have this set up yet. We will probably set up 2 distillation towers, one for liquid air and one for refinery gas. And when we do the refinery gas, we might as well do the other components as well. Heavy fuel. Yeah, so we need quite a bit of stainless steel, which I will also craft up. We'll probably need like 3,000 to make all the distillation towers and oil cracking units. We are fortunate that we have enough simulation chambers left, or space for it, to run exactly 14 more models. One row here is 13 simulation chambers, and down here we have an empty simulation chamber. So this whole row needs to be shulkers for us to keep up with power. I'm overkilling power a bit at the moment, but when we get to IV, we will be using it all, so this will come in handy. We are only using about half of our power capacity, but soon we'll be using a lot more. And to configure the simulation chambers, we just use the conduit probe. Very easy. And remember, shift right click to copy and right click to paste. Very useful when you do large setups like this. Let's see, we need to make sure this down here is configured. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's all good. We need to dedicate another loot chamber. I think we have one here that's not in use. The last one actually. Shulker pristine. At the moment when we are not using all the power that we are making, we're getting many more diamonds than we actually need. We might as well stock up on diamonds so that we have enough. If we at some point don't make enough diamonds, we have a supply, like a kind of kind of a battery. We will probably make a wall of super chests somewhere at one point, but at the moment we just use the diamond one here. So that's the power doubled yet again. So now we have 64 of these numismatic dynamos, and we have 30 of the shulker data models. And in total we have 52. We have in total 52 of these simulation chambers, and we can go all the way up to 80. But now we should have power for a while. Wow, we have quite a bit of unprocessed salt here. We might just stop extracting it, because this is a little much. Yeah, so I couldn't find my fluxspore anywhere. So I made another one. I found it in this chest here just now. So now we have 2 in case we lose it again. That might be good, but I spent like $5 Nomi dollars on it, so it was a bit expensive. But yeah, I guess it's nice to have 2. I made the EV cutting machine here so that we could cut the PIC wafers, which we need for EV. Let's see here, for EV energy hatches, we need these so that we are able to craft up or run the blast furnace at IV, so that we can get higher tiers of ingots. So that's why we are doing that. So I'm about to craft up a 4 ampere energy hatch, which should run a blast furnace at IV, if I'm correct about that. So that would be great. Let's see here if we can craft it up. We should be able to. After installing the, let's see, we can show it. The EV 4 ampere energy hatch. We don't need 2 energy hatches. We can just make this 4 ampere energy hatch. Let's see here. And power it with an energy converter. We run the blast furnaces at IV, so we can make. I'm pretty sure we can make some other alloys now. I'm just not quite sure which ones we can make. We were running kind of low on chlorine, so I started electrolyzing this lithium chloride dust in an EV electrolyzer, which electrolyzes it very quickly. We have about, let's see, 4,000 buckets worth of chlorine in just in these lithium chloride dusts. So we are recycling the chlorine much better. Let's see here. Storage bus. And we will use this chlorine first, so that it gets recycled. We electrolyze methane with No, we reacted methane with water to get hydrogen, and we are stocked up on that. That's a very easy way to get that, and we still have a lot of methane. So hydrogen we are good on now. Chlorine we should be good on. It should be able to keep up with the salt water if we still... Yeah, we have a lot here. Why is this not electrolyzing? Oh, that might be why we were low on this. This electrolyzer wasn't running. Yeah, well, it's running now, so that's good. I'm not sure if I told you this, but I manually crafted up some lumium here. Only 4 ingots, but this should be enough to get us this nano supercomputer. I don't know if... Yeah, we can get to... I made a automated lumium setup here. It's kinda complicated, but not really. It's just a lot of processes. Here we have 9, I think, pulverizers. 1 for diamond dust, 1 for copper dust, 1 for silver dust, iron dust, tin dust, blaze powder, basalt powder, bliss powder, and blitz powder. These we make into their respective dusts: awothium, petrothium, pyrothium, and cryothium. I have limited item filters in each of these crafters so that it don't input too much, and I have limited the output inventory with laboratory blocks. This we craft into mana dust in this crafter here. We also have a limited item filter in there. We extract those into the extractor here. This is all done at EV. We extract the mana powder here into primal mana. This we just directly insert into the advanced mixer, which crafts the lumium. Next to it, we have a mixer which mixes silver dust and copper dust into sterling silver. And we have a mixer making tin alloy dust. We have a mixer making luminescent with phosphoric acid, glowstone, and aluminium and redstone. And we have a chemical reactor making energized clathrate with energized glowstone and nether quartz. The energized glowstone I automated down in the array here. As you can see, it's going hard to keep up. Let's see here. And that's just extracting glowstone, by the way. And this has to be a reactor, not a mixer. The energized clathrate is a chemical reactor. And we insert on brown and extract on brown on all of these. And the mixes we extract on purple, but we could extract on brown on all of these as well, actually. Because we have filtered everything, we can extract it all on brown. This should get everything. Yeah, it is. And we have a drawer we just insert directly into, which stores the lumium dust. I had put in a downgrade and a iron upgrade so that it will stack 256 dust. And if it has to be smelted at tungsten steel coils, and if we put it in here, let's see, together we have helium, which we get from centrifuging endstone dust. So we can craft these faster. These are 90-second 90-second craft, so we should get a blast furnace dedicated to those, like we did with the vibrant and energetic alloys. But for now we will use this blast furnace, which we use for on-demand crafting. So this should get us lumium so that we can craft these cheaper nano supercomputers. Let's see, we are missing a lumium ingot, but that should come in soon. It's such a slow craft. We should probably give it... I don't know if we can make the blast furnace LUV if we use 2 4 amperes EV hedges. I don't think you can do that. This is so slow. I guess it is 1.5 minutes, so it takes a while. Yeah, it should have crafted one up now. Lumium. Yeah, it has. I really want to make the IV assembling machine here. I don't know if we can craft it up yet. We need more tungsten and we need more lumium. But lumium we are crafting right now, and tungsten dust we have like 4,000 of. I made an automation here for styrene butadiene rubber sheets, which we need for the IV conveyors. It needs to be this SBR. It can't be normal rubber sheets anymore because we are at such a high tier. Fortunately, SBR is the last sheet I think we'll make of rubber. There is a point where we get this PBI, which might be used at some point, I'm not sure. After a lot of crafting and making of processes here, we are able to craft up the IV assembling machine, it looks like. I'm starting the craft right now. And yes, it completed here. And I already crafted up a converter, energy converter, and the superconductor on this in this tier is the lumium, and we already crafted that up, so we can place that down. We need, let's see here, I think we need lumium wires to power this. As you can see, it needs 131,000 IF, and these can only transfer 32 per connection. I don't know if we can do the trick where you just put a connection on every side. This might work, you know. I think this works because you can transfer 32,000 IF per connection, and now we have like 5 connections, so that's 150,000 IF, and that down there only needed 130, so this should work. And we now have an IV assembling machine. This is needed to make ASSG coils, and I crafted up a lot of ASSG here. and I already made it into wires. We also need this tungsten carbide foil, which I also made. And we need some, let's see here, molten tungsten, which I also melted down here. And this should work. Yeah, it does. And this gets us the next TF coils. Down here at the blast... Oh. Keep forgetting to put my CPM module on. Let's see. Down here at the blast furnace, I made this into a tungsten smelter. And this stops when we have 500 tungsten, but I think we need to up this. 1024. We need those for nuclear craft. This vacuum freezer wasn't keeping up, so I upgraded that to IV before it was running at HV, and I upgraded the input bus so that it can do all the different ingots. But this is keeping up now, so that's fine. Here I made 2 blast furnaces with tungsten steel coils, and those are making tungsten carbide and tungsten steel. And next to this I will put the last... I have a lot of tungsten steel coils here, and I will put the tungsten smelter next to this one. These IV blast furnaces are using a lot of power. Like, we're using half our power now. Before I made those, we were only using a quarter of our power. So I think this tungsten ingots, if they don't require... Yeah, they only require EV, so I will probably run that one at EVs. I have a couple at IV now, and that's just using too much power. It's a passive process, so it don't need to be too fast. The last thing I'll do this episode is to switch out these coils with ASSG. This is the next tier, which is needed for some of the higher tiered alloys. Let's see here. And then we can use the tungsten steel coils in our wall sharing setup in here. But I think that's the last I have for you this episode. We got quite a bit of progress in this one. It's a bit longer than what I usually do, but I hope that's okay. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.